Y'all, the rap game just got flipped on its head, again. Just when fans thought the streets had gone quiet after King Von's tragic death, boom. 50 Cent drops a bombshell that has the entire industry scrambling for answers. We're talking about a man who stayed silent for years on this topic. And now, he's speaking up about a never-before-heard recording that King Von allegedly left behind. But here's the kicker. This ain't just about music. This so-called last recording is said to contain explosive lyrics, buried messages, and even shots fired at rappers still walking the streets of Chicago. And trust, the beef that sparked off the back of this? It's not just online smoke. It's hitting families, friends, and fans hard. From Lil Durk ghosting social media, to Asian Doll breaking down in tears on live, and even Von's own sister Kayla be throwing shade at 50, it's drama on top of drama. And when Quando Rondo and Lil Tim suddenly jump into the convo, fans are shook. This isn't just a tribute track. This might be a diss disguised as a legacy. So what did 50 really say? And why now? Buckle up, this is just the beginning. When the legends speak, the streets listen. That's what one fan posted under 50 Cent's unexpected Instagram post that sent the hip-hop world into a frenzy. In a grainy black and white photo of himself looking down at an old-school cassette player, 50 captioned it, "They said don't say nothing." But y'all gotta hear this. R.I.P. Von. But damn. No tag. No timestamp. No context. But that was all it took. Within hours, blogs were on fire, TikToks were breaking it down frame by frame, and Twitter, or X now, lit up like it was 2012 again. Because apparently, what 50 Cent was referring to wasn't just a song. It was a vault recording King Von had made just weeks before his death, and only a few people in the industry had ever heard it. And guess who had a copy? Yup, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson himself. Now here's where things get wild. Sources close to Von's team, and we're talking real insiders, said this final recording wasn't supposed to drop ever. Why? Because Von was going off on people. Not just the usual ops. We're talking names that had never been mentioned in his music before, well-known Chicago artists, old friends turned rivals, and shockingly, a few industry heavyweights who had previously shown him love publicly. And here comes the twist. One of the people reportedly named and flamed in the track? Lil Durk. That's right. The same Lil Durk who was not only Von's close friend, but also the one who rode hardest for him after his passing. If this leak was real, and 50 had heard it, then what did that mean about Von and Durk's relationship before the tragedy? Cue the chaos. At first, it was just whispers. Fans digging through old tweets, trying to find signs of tension between Von and Durk. A 2020 IG Live clip resurfaced where Von had said something that suddenly felt different in context. "I don't trust nobody, even the ones who smile in your face." People said he was talking about the ops. But was it a subliminal? Then Durk, who had been active on IG just the day before, suddenly went dark. Stories wiped. No posts. No lives. Nada. At the same time, Asian Doll, Von's ex-girlfriend and longtime ride or die, hopped on live in tears. "You think you'll know what happened to Von? Y'all don't know nothing," she cried, voice shaking. "Y'all gon' believe a man who don't even know the streets? A man who used to troll Ja Rule for clout." Fans were confused. Was she throwing shade at 50? Was she defending Von's legacy or trying to bury what he said? One thing was clear. Something big was about to drop. The video was only 1 minute and 12 seconds, titled Von, The Truth, Leaked Snippet. It wasn't on an official channel, but the voice? Undeniably Von. And the bars? Raw. Aggressive. Unfiltered. "I showed love to ones who was fake / now they cryin' at my grave like we straight. I seen Durk switch up for some fame / had my back. Now he act like he forgot my name." Boom. That was the bar that detonated the scene. Within minutes, fans were divided. Some called it fake. Others said it was clearly Von's voice. Reddit threads filled with comparisons, waveform matches, studio metadata speculation, all of it. But what couldn't be denied? The timing. The snippet dropped just hours after 50's cryptic post, which led fans to ask, Did 50 Cent leak this on purpose? Let's not forget, 50's no stranger to calculated chaos. He's made a career off airing people out, from Ja Rule to Young Buck to even his own son. So would it really be shocking if he let this recording fly to stir the pot? And if that wasn't enough, Kayla B, Von's sister, jumped in, and she came in hot. She took to Twitter and dropped a thread that sent shockwaves across the fandom. Y'all gon' believe a man who ain't even from 63rd? Von ain't diss Dirk, that ain't real. And if it was real, why y'all mad now? Y'all wasn't there when he needed y'all. Keep my brother's name out y'all mouth unless you knew him for real. And in true messy internet fashion, fans instantly started decoding her tweets, trying to figure out what she was saying without saying it. Because Kayla didn't deny the recording existed. She just denied it was about Dirk. But then, who was it about? Meanwhile, Quando Rondo and Lil Tim, the names forever linked to Von's death, suddenly posted matching eyes emojis to their Instagram stories. Coincidence? Nobody thought so. And if you followed the story at all, you know Quando and Tim haven't exactly been quiet since the incident that took Von's life. But their silence in recent months had fans thinking maybe they were done with the drama. Turns out, not even close. One fan theory that blew up online? That the leak was meant to bait Quando and Tim into responding, and they fell for it. The moment they reacted, the internet caught fire with memes, speculation, and old video clips. Suddenly, clips of Von's last night alive were circulating again, analyzed frame by frame for new meaning. The streets weren't just talking. They were roaring. And through it all, 50 Cent? Silent. He never followed up on the original post. No caption edits. No interviews. Not even a story. Which only made it worse. Because in the absence of confirmation, everything felt like a setup. Was 50 playing puppet master behind the scenes? Did he leak the snippet just to get eyes on his new show? Or was he trying to honor Von in the most controversial way possible? Then came the moment that shook everyone. A second snippet. Longer. Raw. 2 minutes, 13 seconds. And in this one, Von didn't just mention Dirk. He named others, directly. Tim still hiding. Quando switched up / Polo went ghost when the block got lit up. 50 watching like it's power, trying to cast me in a scene / but this ain't no TV drama. This real life, feel me? Yo. The meta level of that line had fans losing it. Did Von just accuse 50 Cent of trying to use him for TV clout? And that mention of Polo G? That was completely unexpected. Von and Polo had never had public beef. In fact, they were thought to be cool, even supportive. But here, Von sounded betrayed. As if in his final days, he felt abandoned by people who could have stood up for him and didn't. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. This wasn't just Von dissing for clout. This sounded like a final confession. A window into what he felt in his last days. Paranoid, hurt, and surrounded by people he didn't fully trust. And then the icing on the cake. A closing bar that fans couldn't ignore. If they drop this track, the city gone burn / but I ain't scared of no fallout. Let it turn. And just like that, the city of Chicago became the battleground again. Fans were stunned. Von knew what he was doing with this track. This ain't just a song, this a war cry. 50 gotta be held accountable if this causes violence. But truth or not, the beef was sparked. The emotional wreckage that followed King Von's leaked recording wasn't just limited to the streets. It tore through families, friendships, fan bases, and even people completely outside of hip-hop. Because when the second snippet dropped, and Von's voice could be heard calling out names that had never even been linked to drama before, people started choosing sides. It wasn't just Von versus Dirk or Von versus Quando anymore. It became something bigger. Something deeper. Something way more dangerous. Within hours of the second leak, a private group chat between several Chicago rap affiliates was allegedly exposed on Reddit. The messages? Heated. Threats. Accusations. One person, whose name was blurred out, reportedly wrote, "If that track drops officially, it's open season. I don't care who leaked it." And while nobody confirmed the chat's authenticity, fans immediately began connecting it to Polo G, who'd just gone live hours earlier with a visibly frustrated tone. "Man, I ain't got nothing but love for Vaughn. That's my dog. But people talking things out of context. Don't get caught up in this social media circus. I ain't responding to no fake beefs." But it didn't matter. The line had been drawn. Some claimed 50 Cent didn't act alone. That Asian doll, despite her teary live, was involved in the leak. Why? Well, a fan pointed out that Asian had tweeted, "You always told the truth, even when it hurt," just 24 hours before the first snippet dropped. Was it a clue? A warning? Or maybe a sign she wanted it out? And let's not forget, Asian and Dirk had not been on good terms for a while. Since Vaughn's passing, she's repeatedly hinted that she felt excluded, disrespected, and even silenced by Dirk and his circle. So maybe, just maybe, she figured this was Vaughn's way of clearing the air, once and for all. But that wasn't even the wildest theory. No, the craziest twist came when DJ Academics went on stream and dropped an unconfirmed bombshell. Look, word on the street is that this wasn't even the final version of the song. Apparently, there's a full 4-minute track, with unreleased bars, that goes even harder. And 50's got it. Fans froze. Could there really be a full version? And if so, was 50 Cent, the king of shock marketing, building up to something bigger? Some believed he was planning to drop it during the season finale of his next TV show. Others thought it was tied to a posthumous King Von documentary, which 50 might be producing. After all, 50's already got the industry connections and the content machine. But then came a surprise twist that nobody expected. Tasha Mack, Vaughn's mother, broke her silence. And when a grieving mom speaks, the world listens. She took to Facebook and wrote, "My son's voice should not be used to divide. That song was never meant to hurt nobody. Y'all making a mess of his legacy." It was a short post, but it hit hard. And what made it more powerful? She didn't deny the song was real. She didn't say it was AI or fabricated. She simply said it was never meant to hurt. Which led to a firestorm of debate. One side said, if Vaughn recorded it, he meant it. The other side said, it was raw emotion. Not everything needs to be released. But at that point, it didn't matter. Because the damage had already been done. Kayla B., Vaughn's sister, got back on Twitter just 30 minutes later and said, "Y'all broke my mom's heart. Hope y'all proud." And if the fans weren't already divided, now they were starting to turn on the media, the rappers, and even 50 Cent himself. Meanwhile, Lil Durk, still silent since the leak, made a quiet but loud move. He unfollowed Asian Doll, 50 Cent, and Vaughn's sister Kayla B. all in one night. And when fans noticed, it was game over. Screenshots flooded the net. TikTok breakdowns popped up every 10 seconds. People started tagging Asian and Kayla demanding answers. Asian, never one to stay quiet, replied in a now-deleted tweet, "You cut me off now, but you ain't say that when you was crying in the back room after the funeral." Whoa. That single tweet revealed more than anyone expected. If it was true, and fans believe it was, it meant that there was tension way before the music, way before the leak, way before the drama exploded online. And it painted Dirk in a very different light. But let's talk about 50 Cent for a second, because while all of this was happening, he still hadn't spoken. Not a post. Not a story. Not even a shady tweet. Just complete radio silence. That was, until a leaked clip from the set of PowerBook 3 surfaced online. In it, someone off-camera asks 50, "Yo, you really dropped that Vaughn track?" And 50 responds, with a grin, "I ain't dropped nothin'. But I ain't stoppin' nobody either." Boom. That one line sent shockwaves across the internet. Was he admitting to it? Denying it? Or just being 50, the master manipulator? Either way, it was clear. 50 Cent was in control of the narrative, and he knew exactly how to stir the pot without ever getting burnt. But it was about to backfire, in a big way. Because guess who entered the chat next? Sosa. Chief Keef. The godfather of drill himself. For years, Chief Keef had stayed far away from the Chicago street drama. Living in LA, focused on music, chilling. But when his name started trending because fans thought he might be referenced in the unreleased verses, Keef had had enough. He went live and addressed the situation directly. Look, Vaughn was a legend. But y'all messy for trying to use his name to start beefs he ain't even around to finish. Don't put me in none that. It was calm. It was direct. But it was a warning. Chief Keef wasn't about to let his name get dragged into a second-hand war, even if it came from a fallen soldier. Still, things only got messier. Behind the scenes, bloggers were reporting that Vaughn's label, still holding the rights to his unreleased music, was in talks with 50 Cent's team about a possible documentary soundtrack. And guess what? That recording might be part of it. And if that happens, we're talking lawsuits. We're talking money battles. We're talking legal war. But in the court of public opinion, the judgment was already underway. One YouTube comment put it best. This ain't about music anymore. It's about legacy, loyalty, and who really had Vaughn's back. And if that's the case, then we still haven't heard the last twist in this saga. As the dust kept swirling, more players began getting dragged in. Lil Tim, the man who pulled the trigger in the incident that took Vaughn's life, suddenly went live and said, "Y'all talking like y'all was there. But y'all ain't see what I saw." If Vaughn said something in a song, maybe he felt played by the same people mourning him now. That statement hit hard, and it sparked another explosion online. Because now, Vaughn's killer was being seen as a voice of reason by some fans. That's how twisted the narrative had become. Back in Chicago, tensions were high. There were rumors of cliques forming again, old alliances turning cold, and shows being cancelled over security risks. One promoter even told a local blog, "Ain't no way I'm booking a Dirk show right now. Ain't no way I'm booking Asian either. The crowd energy is unstable." Just like that, artists were losing gigs. Not because of violence, but because of vibes. And that's when fans realized, this wasn't just online beef. This was changing the real-life course of careers, friendships, families, and the entire direction of Chicago's rap scene. And now we're left on the edge. A final leaked tweet, allegedly from someone inside the studio Vaughn recorded in, claimed, "There's a verse where Vaughn says something about Kayla too, but they cut it." Wait, Vaughn had words for his own sister? The internet was still gasping from the leak of Vaughn's unreleased diss track, already scorched with lines aimed at Dirk, Quando, Polo G, and even a sly jab at 50 Cent, when rumors hit about a verse that didn't make the final cut. A bar allegedly directed at the one person no one expected, Kayla B., Vaughn's own sister. For a minute, fans didn't believe it. Vaughn had always been vocal about his loyalty to his family, especially Kayla. She was one of the few who stood beside him publicly, in every fight, every win, every funeral. But then a leaked voice memo, supposedly recorded during one of Vaughn's final studio sessions, hit the blogs. The audio was rough, barely audible through static, but one line stood out. "Blood don't mean loyalty, not even my sis." 6 words. That's all it took. The internet lost its mind. Was Vaughn hinting that even his family betrayed him before his death? Was this a sign of deeper tension within the Bennett family that fans never knew about? Kayla B. took to IG, posting a single photo of her and Vaughn as kids, no caption. Just 2 siblings smiling, a quiet attempt, maybe, to remind fans of the bond that once was. But the damage was done. The rap world was spiraling. Every fan page, every podcast, every voice on TikTok was now asking the same question. Did King Vaughn know he was surrounded by snakes? And more importantly, did 50 Cent just expose the entire nest? As if on cue, Lil Durk broke his silence. In a surprise drop, he posted a photo on Instagram, black background, white text. No tags. No filters. Love to the dead. Silence to the fake. Loyalty over everything. Some called it classy. Others called it a shot back at Vaughn 50 and anyone fueling the drama. Asian Doll reposted it to her story, but with a clown emoji and a message underneath. "Y'all not loyal, y'all performin'." And just like that, the division was complete. Von's circle was shattered. The people who once stood united in mourning were now launching shots at each other across every platform. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, the man who set it all in motion, was quietly capitalizing. Within a week, 50 officially announced a limited docuseries titled From O'Block to Legacy, The Rise and Fall of King Von, produced by G-Unit Film and Television. Streaming soon. You can imagine how that went over. Fans who had been defending 50, saying he was just trying to share Von's truth, now accused him of monetizing trauma, of turning Von's death into a marketing scheme, of dropping audio bombs just to raise interest in his next project. One tweet, which went viral, read, "50 didn't break his silence. He wrote the script." And honestly, they might not be wrong. Because with the buzz of the leak, the hype around the documentary, and every rapper responding, 50 Cent had single-handedly reshaped the entire narrative around King Von's legacy in under 2 weeks. But what no one expected was what came next. Out of nowhere, a full version of the track appeared. 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Clean audio. No DJ tags. Just Von's voice, raw, focused, and fearless. This wasn't just a diss. It was a confession, a manifesto, a purge. And yes, that line about Kayla was real. Told sis stop talking for me / you ain't never ride with me in that alley. Just post for me. It was cold. Too cold. Kayla went dark immediately. Deleted her Twitter. Archived her IG. No lives. No tweets. Just silence. Asian Doll, who had been loud for days, suddenly posted one final message. They say let the dead rest. But y'all let him speak, and now you mad what he said. And that quote, that one line, became the anthem of the moment. It trended on TikTok. Fans turned it into edits, into memorial posts, into tributes. Because love him or hate him, Von had spoken, and people were listening. But while fans were grieving or arguing online, the streets of Chicago felt different. Security was tightened at clubs. 2 Dirk-affiliated shows were postponed. A video surfaced of 2 rappers nearly brawling backstage at a club, allegedly over the leak. Nobody wanted to say it, but everyone felt it. The beef was real now, not just on wax. And the city that Von once repped so hard, the same streets he died in, were now cracking under the weight of his final words. Meanwhile, 50 finally returned to Instagram with one post. A photo of him and Von from years ago, captioned, "I ain't start nothing. I just pressed play." Fans flooded the comments with mixed emotions. Some praised him for being real. Others dragged him for being an opportunist. But everyone agreed on one thing. Von's final song had changed everything. And in the middle of all this chaos, an unexpected voice stepped forward. A letter was posted to Von's official website, signed off by his manager, Track. The same manager who was there the night Von died. The same manager who held back so many details for years. The letter read, "This track was recorded during a dark time. Von was emotional, angry, and hurt. He didn't want this released. We fought to protect his legacy. We failed. Now the world knows what he felt, but don't let that pain define him." It was honest, raw. It hit fans in the gut. Because it confirmed everything, the recording was real. Von didn't want it released. And 50 Cent had, in some way, betrayed that trust. Or did he? Some argued that maybe, just maybe, Von wanted it to come out. Maybe that recording was his last chess move, knowing the world would one day need to hear the truth. Either way, the damage was permanent. Today, King Von's name trends for reasons he might not have wanted. The music, the talent, all overshadowed by the beef, betrayal, and broken silence that came after. Lil Durk continues to stay mostly quiet, only posting cryptic captions and avoiding direct interviews. Kayla B hasn't returned to social media. Asian Doll announced a tribute album, which fans are already arguing about, whether it's real love or just another grab at attention. And 50 Cent? He's winning. His docuseries is greenlit. The world's talking about Von again. Streams are up. G-Unit is trending. And once again, 50 walks away from the explosion clean. King Von's last words weren't in a courtroom. They weren't in an interview. They were in a studio, recorded with fire, pain, and betrayal in every bar. And now, they're out for the world to hear. Was it the truth? Was it anger? Was it just music? You decide. And that brings us to you, the viewer. Now that the dust has settled, and the full track is out, what do you believe? Was Von betrayed by the people closest to him? Did 50 Cent do the right thing by exposing the track? Or did he exploit a man who's no longer here to defend himself? Do you think this recording is Von's final legacy? Or just the beginning of even more chaos in the rap world? We want to hear your voice. Drop a comment below and tell us, is this beef real or industry made? Who do you think Von was really talking about in the full version? And should unreleased music like this ever be dropped without the artist's blessing? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another update from the wild world of hip-hop news. This story isn't over. More reactions are coming. More artists are about to speak up. And if there's one thing we've learned in the rap game, silence never lasts. Stay tuned, we'll keep you posted. This is Spillover, bringing you the truth, with a little bit of drama on top. Until next time.